I'm happy today. Oh, yes, I'm happy today. 'Cause Jesus Christ has saved me today. And now there's nothing I need to worry about. 'Cause Jesus, He loves me today. I'm happy today. Oh, yes, I'm happy today. 'Cause Jesus Christ, He saved me today. There's nothing else I need to do. 'Cause Jesus, He loves me today. Hello. Okay. He loves me today. Oh, yes, He loves me today. In Jesus Christ, He loves me today. 'Cause there's nothing else I need to do. 'Cause Jesus, He loves me today. Yeah. Hubba, hubba, hubba. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. Anyways, I'm happy today. And probably the next several shows, I'm going to be using these little smiley face mugs. Here's the first one. Here's the second one. And yeah, here's the third one. These are my friends, but this is the only one I'm going to drink out of. Let me put these back. Anyway, so I thought it would be wonderful to create this wonderful show for everybody because I am going to give you a little secret. That is this. Oh, yeah. 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 Yeah. Anyways, I just want everybody to know that when you are lonely, you can do a lot of fabulous things, such as... Oh, these are the star earrings, aren't they gorge? Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that. Of course I meant to do that. But when you're bored, look. Oh my God, Popeye spinach. Yeah. Yeah. How we open it up. Alright, so. We're going to be using this to eat it. A fork. A fork. See the fork? A fork. You see the fork? It's sterling silver. Yeah. From Paris, France. Look at those earrings. Oh, yeah. All right. Oh, my God. Oh, my eye itches. Okay, everybody. So, let's go ahead and proceed. Look. Yeah. Popeye. Popeye, Popeye, Popeye. Popeye. Yeah, Popeye. Popeye spinach. Alright. Oh my God. Alright. Oh, fuck it. Anyways. I love my Popeye chicken. I mean Popeye spinach. Have you ever eaten Popeye chicken? It's good. Okay. Look who's been kissing the mug. Me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. All right. Let's get to our lecture or talk or conversation, whatever you want to do. I love this lipstick, and I don't know. I might have to throw it away. See, I'm pretty. Watch. I know. Yeah. All right, people. I am the founder and clinical director of, I don't know what, Social Alchemy Project Access Management, New World Christ Church, what, I don't know. But listen, people, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, I want to see more of you, Tyler. Well, here you go. All right, yeah, pretty. Yeah. Come on over here. Come on, Popeye. Oh, Popeye has muscles. Oh, yeah, you gay men love Popeye because he has muscles. Oh. All right, everybody. So, it's 2018, and a handful of people, when you go out in Hollywood, are absolutely tired of hearing about Charlie Rose, Harvey Weinstein, Bannon, Corey Feldman, just all of the whole hoopla on sexual assault. And that's why at Social Alchemy Project Access Management, we have a committee working on establishing the Sexual Assault Recovery and Prevention Center, the SARP Center. Because, see, people go around doing transactions based on no. No. Yes. No. Yes. Open it up. No. People are tired of getting raped. And it, you know, do the research, the teenage soda pop club and everything like that, and Brett Radner and everything. People are so tired of talking about the abuse of power and the misuse of it. We've known about this for many years, all the way back to
Alexander the Great, who used his body in homosexuality in order to accumulate land. Okay, so we know something about political homosexuality, gender politics. In the vocal mental health advocacy that you're all for because you're supporting the victims that have been annihilated, basically, and from the abuses, really deal with Hollywood, and it doesn't really look like this thing is over. Hollywood, as they say, attracts a lot of charismatic people, and so you really cannot act like you're shocked, because this is the way Hollywood works. And if you're acting all dumb to it, then, you know, you need to snap out of it, okay? To get something done, you have to be very stable and very secure. Now, for all the shock rock videos I give you, it's all shock rock. Dark humor, physical comedy, absurdist comedy work, everything that the infamous Joan Rivers says, that a comedian never has to apologize, which is absolutely true. But where do we go? You know what? I'm done with you. No. You're not going to make me sexually assault you on the can because you got muscles, Popeye. Look at Popeye's muscles. Oh my God. Hi, Popeye. Anyway, so put that there. People feel nailed by things that they thought weren't going to happen to them, but they felt sexy, and they kind of, in some cases, had attracted it. And so this is the way they feel. They feel like a rusted nail that's bent because maybe they're has-beens, maybe they're not getting any work in the talent industry, and this is about like the way they feel. Now, I know something about this, ladies and gentlemen. So let's just go ahead and pick up any type of coin that says the 10 Commandments. You see how it says the 10 Commandments? Okay, I don't have time to teach on that right now because that is not the purpose of this. This is not a sermon. But let's go ahead and tell you what God's voice is and what Satan's voice is. And then we can move forward from out of this whole sexual assault. Now, for you victims that have been assaulted, I was raped by coercion. Coercion was facilitated by a very powerful man who lived in the Hollywood Hills, whose next door neighbor was Barbara Eden, who had property, I'm talking Architectural Digest property, villas, everything. I'm not going to get into everything, but he had a daughter he had molested in Santa Barbara, and then she went on to Ivy League schools, and age of 23, she was speaking 3 different languages, and what have you. But in the terrorism that I felt, it was very, very disabling and paralyzing, and I'm empathetic to you. But we've got to move forward, and for your healing, you can step right into Social Alchemy Project Access Management, because we are about taking action plan. If it's disabling and still paralyzing for you, we will be with you in the corner. We are not here to force you. We are here to love on you. And by that compassion and empathy, you are able to produce amazing social work in the social sciences, working with my theories and things like that. God's voice, as it says on this side. God's voice, and this is to let you know if you are mind-fucked because of maybe trauma or something or other. God's voice stills you, makes you still. It leads you. It reassures you. It enlightens you. It encourages you. It comforts you. It makes you laugh. It calms you. It convicts you. It helps you get the strength into yourself to make your amends. It draws you to Him, and it lines you up with His Word. And that's a very controversial point. But the first thing that's listed was that He stills you. And He says that, "Be still and know, for I am God." Now, Satan's voice, Satan, Say, shock rock, sorry, duh. Get over it, baby doll. Satan's voice rushes you, pushes you, frightens you, confuses you, discourages you, worries you, obsesses you, condemns you, and distances you from any type of love, which is the Lord Jesus Christ. Case in point proof. Now, if there's something that is said, one important thing is to do something, and that is put a paper clip on it. Okay? Put a paper clip on it and attach it to something in your mobile home, if your trailer garage, your mansion, your residence at St. Regis, or the Ritz-Carlton, or the Venetian, or Four Seasons of the Peninsula, whatever. And remember what you need to remember, because you're at an age and you cannot afford fumbling around too much. I'm so sad about that. I'm really sad about that. Yeah. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, so. Distraction. Moving right along to what must be discussed. Now, people, you are to be of quality and content. Is that right? And you need to have a custom declaration of what you really believe. Because this whole thing about you not having a secure belief system makes you a flake when people come along and they misuse you and you don't have the strength and the words to stand up for yourself. People, when you get a gut reaction and you have something in your mind, that is because you are receiving an emergency alert. Duh! And in your mind, you're supposed to be the emergency connecting to community center, because it's about city connection. And that's simple. It's about community, it's about relationships, and if you're very depressed and you're down on yourself, you need to get out. Even take a walk. It doesn't take any money. Be of your heart in the full-fledged fears that you feel. Because when you can be with that and sit with yourself, you are your own healthcare provider. And that is of your healthy mind, brain health. And you open your eyes and you can be overactive in your bad thoughts. But the habits of disastrous thinking has got to end, because you need a healthy looking society for yourself. Now, there is a term that you come upon online. It's called FOMO. And it stands for fear of missing out. And when you have been violated, you have fear of being loved. You have fear of homelessness. You have fear of not finding somebody you can trust. And that leads us to today's discussion. Fear. You can scrape, you can scrub, and you can chip, and you can chisel and scour and clean up the mind from dirty thoughts. But if you have post-traumatic stress disorder and you cannot get rid of your fear, you need to find an ever much so bridge that is made available to you if you are willing to do the work. Okay, this is all within you. Okay? People in the land of abundance is about people that don't respectfully return phone calls to people, and it makes people feel afraid of losing friendships. Because people that are making money want more and more and more. And the facts are, they can be ugly, They can be fat, and you might be better looking, but if they are two-faced because of their money hard-ons, okay, then they are people that are screwing other people over, and they think that they are better than people, and they think that God will bless them even though they're rejecting people. They think that God blesses them when they treat people poorly, and that's not Jesus. Jesus does not work that way. So don't bow down to the fear, and don't place less value in yourself because somebody has associated you with being a moron, a douchebag, a prick, or whatever. Now, be able to see yourself, because there's a reason why people might call you those things. But when it comes to rejecting, when you make changes in your own prestige, you're raising yourself up to a higher level. You can tell them that you've made changes. But if you don't have money, then they will throw you away. They have their yachts, they have their vacations, and they really do. People in your life might not have that, but people in the world do have that, and that's not the way Jesus works. Dissing people because of status markers. People, in all that we say about what can cause fear for you and losing your identity is merely disclaimer number 1. Lucifer. Hail Lucifer. Lucifer can run the show. Am I right or wrong? It's right. And he has the copyrights over many people's souls. And that's why you are allowed to stand up. You do not have to reduce yourself to white trash because you screwed over your youth. You can start again on truth about money. Now, if your life is based on waking up in the morning to see how much money you can make in order to socially stratify and be better than people, you have the wrong motivation. You need to wake up in the morning because it's giving you an opportunity to love on people. And when you are of service, money follows and money takes care of itself. You don't have to fail yourself into being an adult of fear of living with less. You can live and be content with the small things. People that have had big, oh my goodness, I got to do my dentures, I can barely even speak. Oh my god, I'm menstruating all over my, oh my god, I'm menstruating from out of my lipstick. Yeah, I'll tell you, these talks on YouTube can sure create a lot of mess. But we're gonna be happy. People, if you have had big things and they have been taken away from you, and now you're left with small things, it's because you can still learn patience. People think that the more they get, it means God is blessing them. Jesus doesn't work that way. Okay? Jesus was homeless and broke through his whole ministry. And when he was taken to the cross, he was broke as well and homeless. When he raised from the tomb in 3 days, he was still broke and homeless. So you know what? If you have a little bit of money and you have housing, you're further ahead. And if you have that greediness in your heart because you are fear-based on living these things, you have created them as idolatry. Haters of Christians. You exist because Christians have been against you, because they have thrown you away because you're homosexual, or you're strange, or you're different, or you're shock rock, and they have more. And they want you to live a morbid death. They want you to do what Christians do, and that is what? Turn the other cheek. You get slapped. What do the Christians want you to do? They want you to be what the Christians are. Turn the other cheek. By the time you know it, you have a bloody nose and what? You're right. We're going to show you Tyler's booty. Because I'm a booty boy. I'm a booty boy. Yeah. They want you to bend down so they can sodomize you and get money from out of your checking account. Now, you know what? For all you people that are offended by this, you know what? Get over it. Get over it. Get over being offended. Get over being offended. Yeah. Get over being offended. Yeah. 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 Get over it, people. Get over it. You're not that wonderful where you need to go around judging people. Oh, beautiful. Oh, my star. Oh, my star. Yeah, pretty. Yeah, pretty. So, in Living with Lust and the Christians putting how wonderful they are in your face, it helps people hate themselves. And what it does is it results to a racist God. Okay? Do the thinking. You are afraid of being too honest. It doesn't work that way. You have to be honest. Money is very thrilling. And when you have it, you can feel like on top of the world. You can book your airfare or your cruise with your talent manager. Not your talent manager. Your travel agent. Dentures. Yeah. And when money isn't there, it makes you feel homeless. And some people will actually murder people for money. So if the truth is that money is the root of all evil, and we have all of this competition going on, and the haves and have-nots, is it really true that money is innocent? Is money innocent? No. So when you are living with less money, count it victory. In your suffering, you must be joyful, and you must keep yourself about faith. People equate God loving them based on how much money they use to intimidate people. This is what they call self-esteem and social stratification. That's not what Jesus teaches. Okay? People, when I discuss this all the time. If you are chasing the black dragon's red tail, and you are getting people enslaved to money because you are showing that you are supposed to be enslaved to money, you are not doing what Jesus wants you to do, because you are with all the corruption and the greed and the dollar bill that says, "In God we trust." If there's all of this infraction going on, what have you, is it really "In God we trust" on the bill? Answer is, to many people, no. So, is it a lie straight from hell where you can still smell the smoke? Probably. Men don't want to see themselves collapsing, okay, in their lives. They want to be resentful of others if others have more of the cake and they're eating it too. Okay? That is what triggers and launches the greed and the corruption and the coveting and the envy and the jealousy, because of fear, because of insecurity. People need to know what they need to hear about in themselves. And they don't have to lash out at the closest person to themselves. They need to take themselves out of their own secrets and their own loneliness, and they need to see how inexcusable the chasing after the almighty buck the fuck and fuck the buck at the expense of children, at the expense of wives, because fathers have money hard-ons and they can't keep their zipper up, and they are now with other whores, okay? People, Our children and our wives are lonely because of the abuse of money hard-ons. And it's rude and it's crude. And Americans have thrown unlucky people away when money is not there for the people to run around with. Again, Jesus doesn't work this way. So you want to support humane life sustainability is what I call it. And it's, of course, the sustainable efforts of what? A new thought you. Not a new thought Christianity. Not a new thought New World Christ Church or a new thought political system, but a new thought you. Your life changes based on your thought. And you create long-term economic, social, and environmental solutions when you have learned to live with less. People, you have got to hold yourself accountable and become your own self-alchemist in the strict accountability and oversight of public opinion. You have to be accountable to the public opinion and to verify that there is efficiently, much so, effective and promised stratagems you can use that are not based on lies and will not fail. This is of keen importance, ladies and gentlemen, when you start growing up, men, and you refuse to stop being little boys. So, with that stated, it's really interesting drinking this while there is lipstick in there. And we'll just slip right over to our Popeye. So, moving right along, what does this mean for you? I'll let you know. I have some notes over there. One moment, please, as I get up. And don't you think you can do a Harvey Weinstein me, baby? See, when money is there in Hollywood, people think they can get away with what? Their scandalous, exploitative routines on people that need them because of money hard-ons and because the celebrity has power. It doesn't work that way. So now, you're allowed to look at me, and it's not a sexual assault. You just can't touch. Like you really want to, huh? Okay. Okay. Okay, now let me go ahead and get the notes. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. I know, this is the poet's shirt. I know. I know. Fab, isn't it? See, oh, I know. Love the look. Ooh. Okay, so. I'm wearing brown charcoal panties. Thank you very much. I want everybody to say that you are not a yuppie, gay, Beverly Hills jerk. But you have something for the sexual assault recovery and prevention work, or the Gay and Lesbian Alliance, that is all-encompassing of LGBT, because if it wasn't for gay men, there would not be LGBT, and people that are shunning any Gay and Lesbian Alliance and saying it's not all-inclusive because it has to say LGBT is completely inaccurate. Gay Alliance is the umbrella over LGBT, and a lot of people are running around shunning the homosexual and the gay man and just throwing around as a soft hit LGBT this, LGBT that. And nobody is really standing in honor of the service and graciousness. They're being childish, and they are really not the quite of leaders. Oh my God, I put in my dentures, I can barely speak. Mental illness. They are not being leaders, but childish with points they want to make, right? And they pout and they grudge if their points are not met. Everybody is human to be acknowledged and to drain the swamp. And, you know, drain your own swamp. Don't point your finger at people and tell them to drain the swamp. Drain your own swamp. Do you know what I mean? I really want people to hear what we're talking about. So it's going to require a larger mouth to do that. It's just a larger mouth. Alright, moving right along. So, people, touch the infinite. Yes? But the infinite, the eternal, the everlasting has already touched you because it's in your heart. And you have all safety in a loving universe. And you don't have to be fearful where it takes you beyond the decision makings that you have to make to have a sweet destiny, a fate, and a definitive divine providence with the infinite. Dream, lift up your eyes. And God told Moses to do that. And God gave him information to then go ahead and minister to people. Now, what's wrong with that? Understanding the theme of your life is also part of you not killing yourself. You gotta become friends with your backstory, people. You can't be afraid. You are the evangelist, I'm talking to men, of an all-male energy emergency center, an all-male energy learning center, call it an emo, whatever censure. I don't care where you're coming from. I mean, I care, but you know, all people allowed. Come as you are, no perfect people allowed. Gay, straight, rescue and alliance, a men's shelter mission does not exist probably among your friends, and you need to have a plan where if something ever happened in global missions and pastoral care ministries, you know you guys can care on one another. And because it is a faith community commitment. And if you think other, you're wrong. Because you are the pastor of your own spiritual Christ Church of love. The New World Christ Church at Social Alchemy Project is there because we have broken-hearted men that need some type of model infrastructure because they feel worthless, they're gay, they've been abused, they've been kicked out of their home. And when you serve a God and you lend yourself over to God, you don't need drugs. You don't need your porn addiction. All you need is love. This is the venture of rescuing manhood, starting with you. That's not hard to think about, is it? Because you know it's right. So, in your mind, people, because I know you're busy teaching more of the miracles of the smartphone than the miracles of Jesus, you, in your cognitive function, can create and manifest a type of digital bulletin. You need money to be saved. When you have money, learn to save it. Learn to discipline yourself to not go around shopping. Release yourself from the sin of the error. Sin means missing the mark, okay? Know what you bring to the room of your mind where your digital bulletin remembers everything because you're a computer. And don't be a child, but be a man. Be a man? No, be a man, not a man. I gotta put in my dentures. I can barely even speak. And this webcam is frozen up. I'm so sorry. Be a friend of man. When you are a friend of man and your hand is not in their back pocket, your hand is not in their purse, and your hand is not in their pussy, you become a friend of the baby Jesus. Okay? It's true. From that, you enter your new womb. You become your butterfly in your cocoon. And the fears are drowned out because of love. And no longer being a slave to fear. That's Philippians chapter 2, 9 through 11. Celebrate the name of Jesus. Really. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, your King. What a wonderful name it is. And that's a song. And you're not going to talk me out of it. But perhaps sometime I can share that song with you. So, people, in the shadows of prejudice, and the shadows of your shame, and the shadows of your fear, God is here to love on you, because that is true biblical social justice. That is what is socially fair. You get the good even when you haven't done anything. But when you go out and disagree with goodness and you start chasing the black dragon's red tail, greed and corruption, you're not going to really get very far in a biblical social justice. You have to know that you deserve to be happy. You deserve to have love. Money will follow. Mercy is the story of Jesus Christ. Redemption, taking yourself from out of stupidity, the new idiocracy where people are idiots and they don't care about Robert Browning, they know nothing about Shakespeare, they're absolutely ignorant, because they are meaningfulness chasing meaningfulness. This is Ecclesiastes. Vanity chasing vanity. Each of us has more than the worst thing that we've ever done. So you don't need to go around acting like your poo-poo pee-pee caca does not stink. Speaking about poo-poo pee-pee caca, pee-pee is kind of salty if you've ever tasted it. And that reminds me of spinach. Yeah, pee-pee. Salty. Shock rock, sorry, duh. In the globalized missionary efforts that you are giving to yourself by outreach to yourself, you are your own ATM machine, right? You are your own digital platform, and you can give yourself the money if you save, and you can give it back through a judicial justice system. You could take friends out to lunch if they are having a hard time, even if they haven't earned money and you think you're better than them. Please do not forget that when you take people out and you get past your fear and you can love on them, don't do it because you're patronizing them and you're condescending because you think you're better than them. It is a all men's rescue mission. Okay? It is the Democrat. Now, it's democratic. Yeah. The Democratic and the Republicans. Yeah. And be bipartisan for them so you have two sides that won't fail. In the political descriptions of social justice, you become marginalized if you don't what? Buy a Chevrolet 2020. You know what I mean? People want you to shop and they want to use you for your money. Do not compare yourself to people that are being Christians, that are showing you that the more money you have, the more God must love you. God loves everybody, carless or not having friends, and you having a car. People love you. And this is your biblical social justice, is that Christ died for you. Now, I didn't want this to be a religious topic because I'm discussing fear. And I'm talking about different angles of your men's rescue shelter total thing, because of the broken hearts, the unluckiness, the self-hating, and, you know, teaching trust in what is as you're living with the small things. Ministry makes you take a step into a new digital space. Technology is like beyond the skies. And when you take those steps, you're walking into communication and hospitality with your cosmos. You are teaching yourself that you don't have to be afraid, regardless of your socioeconomic background, bankruptcy, and not being a winner, according to Donald J. Trump. People, you are a winner. Do you realize that? You don't have to be great. Again, you're great right now because you're still breathing. Do you understand that? In the economics, placing value on you, that is a lie straight from hell, and I can still smell the smoke. We do not have to be in power. We do not have to tithe. We don't have to give money to the pastor and we think it's the Lord, when your pastor's getting $170,000 a year and drives a Mercedes-Benz. Jesus Christ is your resurrected King. And that means you can stand on the word that you are loved. And the Bible says the meek and the poor will inherit the land. In your grief sharing support groups, in the generations camp, my goodness, I can barely even speak. You'd think I was loaded on dope. My people, this is your generation's campaign to go forward and contribute to humanity by learning to smile. To say to yourself, and I've said this in a lecture, you don't need anything but sunshine in your heart. If you have that intent, you are further along than most people. And you know what I'm talking about. You don't need to disagree. Because you feel disgraced because you don't have money. Get over yourself. Stop having a love for money, because love is the root of all evil. And you need to do a hiccup and understand that money is choking you. Money is stopping you from breathing. It prevents you from getting solid sleep at night. You have to find gay men that are not going to be dicks. You have to find in that your sassy, spiritual, authentic, and raw soul speaks volumes. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Just a second. Okay. Oh my god. Well, I need a different. Oh my god, I need a different strategy to get rid of the hiccups. Oh my goodness. Okay. Oh my god. I counted at 10 and I. Oh my god, I'm so sorry about this environmental notice that I have to give you, but I am filled with one heck of a hiccup, and I am so sorry. So you want to deactivate the radio transmission in your head, or the record, oh my God, the record player transmission in your head that says that you will do anything to get money. When you submit, when you submit that in your when you're unconscious, people, you are making the declaration of conformity to greed and corruption. And behind that could be some sexual assaults. Who knows? Listen, I'm very sorry about the hiccups. I'm so tired. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Excuse me. I know this talk is getting a little lengthy, isn't it? Hi guys. Anyway, so it's a men's world coalition with exclusivity. Nobody needs to be thrown away. It's true. Nobody needs that for themselves. And nobody needs to go around smoking crystal meth or tina or crack. Because this is not an urban quilt. This is not a quilt of patches of friends that know you, and you're all stitched together, and you have an amazing, beautiful community. Because you would be spiraling down. Now, but how many of you ultimately have proven to yourself that you depend on many unknowns, and you use money to comfort you? That's the case for many of us. And you know what? That's not Jesus. See, you Christians, you think you know what you're talking about, and you don't, because you haven't been there. Because you're busy robbing people, and you know, on Sunday morning, the Jesus Casino, ching, ching, makes a lot of money on Sunday morning, and it is a I'm yawning, and I'm belching. No, people, in the value clinic of men's research and a new life extended in social sciences of men, you have to think only good of even Christians. We're very hard on them. But they don't like to be bitch slapped, and they need to be bitch slapped because they don't think their shit stinks. And it does. Now, I'm not completing all my thoughts and all my sentences having to do with Christians because, in a way, they're not even worth talking about. Because they're haters. And they teach you to put limits on your creativity, and they teach you to self-doubt yourself. And the Christians, you know, they think they're resilient because of the sentiment they have as beings to possess an inherent awakefulness of Jesus when they say, Jesus blesses us only when we have money. Christians these days are having a harder time living with less because of fuck the buck and buck the fuck. On Sunday morning, it's a lonely man's club, okay? And it is mafia at day, and people know that, and we need to talk about that social suicide. People are very much so hurting, and they don't trust anyone, and they feel afraid. And I can say, a lot of the Christians are right there. There has to be an exchange of ideas for people to feel loved. And if people do not exchange ideas in an elevated dialogue and public discourse, like my conferences and my workshops and my seminars and my symposiums, and blah, 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 the symposiums, then they're not going to be able to recognize that the social work in themselves to help a city with mental health cases and crisis is the main thing we have to consider. See, people's heads are up their asses. And it's the truth. Whatever your defense is, okay? Whatever you think that you need for your empowerment, in your alchemy, in having a lovely heart, it requires a loyal heart. And a loyal heart comes to people freely. And it's a free membership. And it is a ministry. And that's why I have a big focus on the New World Christ Church and things like that. We have to halt ourselves. And we have to understand that if we are dissing people because they have less than us, we are what? Excuse my French. Assholes. The resolution that can be recommended is that men together in an ethical, welcoming, collective consciousness, that's my term, I talk about this, is helping us hold one another's hands during the information and the saving of one another's lives in the cognitive science, and knowing how to relate information by dialogue and conversations and talks. This gives loyalty to health. Okay? Men, we have to see our seclusion. I don't care if you're going out and having orgies with people's demons. Shock rock. Sorry, duh. We are very isolationist and separatist, and we are secluded because we have a story of not being loved. So, in our selflessness and our dehumanization and our emasculated selves or demasculated selves, we grow very selfish and we get very distorted because we see people that have converted their lives into men that sit down like they are king. And in the awareness workshops you want to go to at Social Alchemy Project Access Management, the meditations of support groups that you find, the filtering of thoughts that you find, you don't have to be a puppet. You can publish your own pamphlet on your recommendations, on what works for you. If you can develop a mandatory assembly for yourself, okay, to raise awareness on walking away from the greed and the corruption, because we are disposable and we are not acting very sovereign. But yeah, we're all talking about reform, change, drain the swamps. You know, use a social arts theory that I'm giving you. Use something that creates desire of what is good for you, while sitting with men that think that they're king and talking to them and not judging them, but knowing exactly where they're coming from and being able to be their healer through art, through film, music, your education, inspiring words, being a creator in Hollywood with capital C, talking about novel ways to communicate using performance artistry, writing, intervention, and preventative programs as the project for yourself. Social Alchemy Project Access Management is working for all of that for you. It's that simple. Where will you go tonight when you get lonely? Thank yourself. Thank yourself for knowing that you are not going to piss it away, because you can live with the content. And you know, the Bible says that when you give up your life, you find a new life. That is the project. That is learning and teaching. That is the research organization to unite, to ignite. To not be embarrassed to see yourself as men with not a lot of money or a lot of money. And you know, a lot of people that have problems, I know something about this because I'm in touch with Rich Fag America very often, is that the people that are crippling because of their shame and they're the most messed up in their head are the ones that have all the money because of their corruption and their greed. People that think they're beyond humane life sustainability and the government and even religious institutions that promote righteousness, they have to allow themselves to break down and see that they are afraid of expanding and being included in people's lives. and they're sitting back with a money hard-on. Jesus doesn't work that way. Don't be afraid to be simple. You don't have to feel that when you break down forever. The Old Testament says that God chastises us. He whips us into place. He tears us apart. But He mends us. And He molds us. And He heals us. And that is the spiritual principle. That is the all-male energy learning center. You are doing something to be broadcasted for your own purpose. Because once you have this, and you make humor out of it too, because you're out of the closet, right, men? From drag to comedy to dark humor. Men like to be repulsed. Men like to be criminalized. They like to be caught and incarcerated, okay? They like you to tell them their lies so they can believe their delusional dreams, which is completely untrue. And you have to stand in the middle of a hot mess with hot men in the ritual of spreading diseases? No, Jesus doesn't work that way. So from public health, from social and behavioral sciences, to the spiritual community, there is a totality of the impersonal and the personal. And you cannot be a coward when you talk about your deception, right, and your corruption and your greed. People, these are personal matters, and when you have personal matters like that, it means one thing. You know, politics, gender politics, political homosexuality. Do the reading. Don't run away and be afraid that I said money hard on and you think I'm thinking below the waist. I'm not. I'm thinking right here. Don't pass me on like that. Because you're uncomfortable and you feel guilty and you know we're talking about the very great imagination that you have to explore, and that is, what will your life be with new ideas, posh, larger than life, posh? What will it be when you are looking in Hollywood and you are more than crazy for Tom Cruise and you go beyond religion and friendship and you let the traditions and the broken hearts and the shattered dreams of other people come to you, and you can minister to them because you can love on them, and you could discover what new religion is, discover what new government is for yourself. And these are the things that creates a first Christ of gay St. Peter's profanity. You know, Peter was not perfect, and neither do you have to be. Do you know what I mean? It's okay to love the unlovely in yourself. It's okay to be friends of the friendless within yourself. It's okay to give out of what you need to yourself. It's okay to give out of what you don't have to yourself. It's okay to stick out your head and help yourself. It's okay for you to be you, to sit with yourself and meditate, and hopefully enter a cognition that has you provide new attachments to the proper things of life, and to hold yourself in account to appreciation of the opportunity to serve other people's needs, because you have what? You have healed yourself. Isn't that really what we're here for? It's true, we are. And you are going to be okay if you learn to speak your truth, and if you learn to live your bliss and not exploit people economically, sexually, what have you. And that's all Hollywood needs to know. There's no need to exploit everybody's name that sexually assaulted Corey Feldman. No, it isn't. It's about giving good teaching and to helping people out there that are listening to this, that are predatory in a pedophilic, pornographic perpetrator society. And to say, you know what will be will be. And Jesus always said, go forward and do it no more. And I think that is absolutely the key to your inner healing and building up your psychological masculinity. I love you. I love you, I love you, I love you.